There's a very powerful implication in this reading. You have broken old cycles or patterns. You are stepping into a whole new cycle of development and growth due to the choices you are making or have already made. Because there's a lot happening for you. There's a lot you're working towards. There's a lot of development and good things, right? And just when you start to make progress, of course, then out of the woodwork, all of the distractions and all of the old people, places, and things like to come slithering out of the corners. And normally, I think that you kind of succumb to an old way of thinking or falling into old habits or what have you, but not this time. This time, you are making the sort of scary decision to proceed forward. That or your fear is a great motivator as well. I think that in a lot of ways, you're able to push past a lot of this simply because you don't have the patience for it or the time. Things are more important here. And with that being said, by the way, I feel like you have somebody probably pretty upset, or there is someone around you who's kind of upset, or there is someone who is sort of focused on you. You may even receive a communication of some kind. However, I do think that you will find yourself defending your position or setting boundaries, which is very, very much necessary. You know, there's been potential here, but you know, this is very much about stepping out of an old chapter. You're no longer focused on how things were, or you're not like stuck in nostalgia or an old way of thinking. You're moving into a very progressive state of being. And you know, I really do feel like that's the best choice you can make. For one, you already know this because your perspective is justice. You already know the right choice, the right direction. You, like, the things that are apparently distractions, the things that are apparently, you know, very obvious, not the choice. You're just accepting that because it's only the emotional response that makes you consider these choices, or the sense of anxiety that comes up. But when you lose that debate, you know, all of this comes into the picture. You know, we have the Ace of Cups. This is fulfillment. This is emotional growth. This is inspiration. This is sort of your cup runneth over. The Empress, I mean, this is nurturing that potential. It is kind of a clumsy card. You might be learning as you go. You might, you know, because the Empress is the mother of the deck. And so I often think where she's the mother of the deck, it is very nurturing and it is very creative. But I also tend to think of it as kind of a clumsy card because if you've ever had children or known anybody to have a child, well, childbirth is a very sort of confusing and even painful experience. Not to mention motherhood being that. But as you find your way through all of this, you know, you find yourself building the victory and the recognition that you hope for. You know, this is inspired action. This is being recognized for either your work or your creativity, or, you know, just whatever sort of direction you're taking in your life that is motivating you to keep going, that, you know, is inspiring for you. You very much get there, especially with this outcome. Now, if you're having some issues along the way, I do kind of get the sense of relief being ahead of you. I feel like there's a lot of circumstances happening in the outside influence that you're not necessarily fully aware of. Meaning, you know, sometimes we wait for things to pull together and we can only see what's immediately in front of us. But we have to understand there's a whole world happening. There are people doing things. There are a million circumstances that have to come together in order to make one thing happen. Me doing this reading, there was a sequence of events that happened before me sitting down in this chair and recording this reading that you all are not privy to. I've had a whole day, I've had a meal, I've had a nervous breakdown, I've had, some time outside, I've had some time with my son. You know, there's a whole slew of events that have taken place up until the point of making this message that you're seeing now. And the same thing with anyone you interact with, the same thing with any job offer that comes, with any relationship that comes together. You know, let's say you meet someone, you both have to choose to wind up in those circumstances where you would come together by whatever chance. I'm sort of veering off a little bit, but you know, I think that you're going to receive some relief. I feel like it will be inspiring, it'll be motivating. It's like sort of just enough to keep you going. And that is really what we're looking for here, because, you know, there almost seems to be like sort of certain things or people almost like working against you. Like, and I say that loosely, okay? Let's not get paranoid. I'm not saying people are scheming on you, okay? Maybe that's the case if that fits for you, but it's more so about maintaining that clarity of direction, that clarity of truth, that knowing of what is what, right? So when these distractions, when these people, when these setbacks or whatever they are come in, you maintain that focused vision and direction, because it's taking you to the Queen of Pentacles. Now, you know, the Queen of Pentacles is a very stable energy. It is a very abundant, prosperous, nurturing, calm, together energy. And, you know, I think that patience is required, because it's almost like you feel like you're running in circles sometimes, or it's like you're waiting for like results to catch up to where you need them to be, or whatever it is. And, you know, we must continue to contemplate. We must continue to be analytical of our, observe your process, observe what you're doing. And where you see faults, right? Try different things. See if you get different results. Experiment. I can't emphasize how crucial it is to experiment, because you may find better results, and then you can, you know, have the indication to change whatever needs to be changed. And so if you run into the same problem with the same people or the same situation time and time again, I think it's safe to say that's probably not the right direction this time either, now is it? And particularly with retrograde coming into the mix, you may have all kinds of old cycles resurfacing, old people trying to reach out. And the thing about retrograde is it makes our problems very glaring. It's kind of like, you gonna do that again? Or you finally kind of get it? It's up to you. I'm going to take this reading a bit further on my Patreon. That's where all of my extended readings go, so please do join me there. I also take personal readings, which you can book if you're interested in that. Everything can be found on the website that is in my bio. Have a great night.